Hey there friends, it's Missy again. Thanks so much for stopping in today. I'm back with a new layout for the Paige Evans design team, and I'm going to be using lots of goodies on this page today. I'm going to start with one of Paige's cut files called Love This Girl, and I went ahead and cut it on my Cameo using this paper. This is paper number 4 from her Pick Me Up collection. And I'm going to use this color photo of my page. I thought it matched really well with the idea that I had going on in my head. And I played around for a while with the placement of this large title. I played around with making it kind of diagonal, like twisting the whole thing to the left a little bit so it looked like you were kind of looking at it from an angle, kind of like that. And then I made it straight. I stacked it in the middle, put the photo underneath it, put the photo to the right. Just, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. So I just played around with it for a while, decided to take a break. I'm going to come in and start to work on the background. Now, my background paper is going to be textured white cardstock today because what I'm going to do with the mixed media, I wanted the cardstock's texture to be visible through that when you look at it up close. So I'm coating the whole thing here with clear gesso to prep it for all of the mixed media goodies that I'm going to add to it. And I finally decided to do this. I'm just going to have the title straight, kind of stair-step effect with the photo there to the right. And the stencil that I just showed you there I'm going to use on the background. That is one of Paige's new stencils called Chevrons. And it's one of her new ones that I haven't used yet. So what I thought I might do was kind of create this wonky vertical background design using the stencil. And I didn't want to do what I normally do, which is scrape modeling paste over the stencil. So I thought that I would blend inks over the stencil. And these are Distress Oxides, some of my favorite go-to colors that match so many of Paige's collections. And I'm using a little mini foam ink blending tool there that I've used for many projects. And I'm going to use several colors here. I thought since my title, the big cut file, is mostly darker blue, I wanted to add different colors to the background that were a little bit bolder and brighter to kind of enhance the colors in the title. So I'm going for yellows and pinks and oranges and just kind of blending them together and working my way down the page. And I don't want this to be perfectly straight. I want it to be kind of wonky and crooked and messy. And I do get often asked the colors of the Distress Oxides that I'm using, so I'm going to make sure that I tell you that as I'm going. The yellow one is called Fossilized Amber. That dark pink color is my favorite. It's called Seedless Preserves. I used a little bit of a lighter pink or a brighter pink called Picked Raspberry. The orange one there is Spiced Marmalade. This is Abandoned Coral, and it's more of a corally reddish color. And I'm going to wind up kind of blending these all together. And all of these colors that I've used so far blend well together. Now this is the cool part. This is what happens when you add water to Distress Oxides. That's my little water brush there. It's got water in it. So when I squeeze it, water comes out the tip. And as soon as the water hits the Distress Oxide, it instantly basically turns into watercolor, and it just runs and blends and smudges and all the wonderful things. I love this effect. So cool. Now, this would not work as well if you didn't use gesso, because the gesso kind of acts as a barrier between the water, the ink, and the paper. Nothing is soaking right through, nothing is drying right away, and so that is what makes it activate when the water hits it. Look how cool. It looks like, I know I say this a lot, but it looks like I left it in the rain and it got wet and it made the colors run. And I am obsessed with this technique. I've done this on several layouts the past couple of months where I stamped and added water and it bled and ran like this. So I thought, let's do it over a stencil. And I think that looks so cool. I love that you can see the background. I love that you can see the title. See what I was talking about with the colors and the contrast. I didn't want to use the dark blue or the dark teal on the background because it would blend in. Now, as I get closer to the bottom, I am going to pull in some blue because the Love is the darker of all the colors. and it's going to be right pretty much where it is now. It's going to be up top. So I thought it would be okay to bring that darker blue color down to the bottom of the page to kind of echo that color in another part of the layout. So I'm going to bring in a darker blue there. What's that color called? I can't even remember. I'll have to look it up. Remind me in the comments if you want to know what that dark blue color is, because I cannot remember. I've already put these up. That green color is Evergreen Bough, I think, and a little bit of Lucky Clover. But yeah, I can't remember the blue one. Coming back to the fossilized amber, and I really like how it looks like a watercolor background, but you can also see the shape of the stencil. You can see the chevrons, but then some of them are blended out. And you know, you could do this background without even adding the water, because you can see the effect there with just the ink blended over it. Very, very cool. I just like to get a little messy. I always like to have that watercolor effect, so I always have to kind of make it blend and smudge and add water. You know me, I have to add water to everything I make. It's like, I don't know, it's my obsession. But yeah, I love how this is looking, and I'm going to make it work as my background. And I think it's going to totally change once I start to add embellishments. And as I was making this, I started to think, okay, Paige has so many collections. What collection am I going to go for to add embellishments? And you know, Paige's collections are just filled with gorgeous flowers. And the first thing that I thought of was her Truly Grateful collection. It came out a few years ago. Was it 2018? I think that one came out. And it was kind of geared toward fall, but it had some really rich, deep, bold colors. And the flowers, I just remember a pattern paper in that collection that jumped out at me that would match these colors. And so that is the collection that I'm going to dive into first. And I wind up mixing and matching a couple things from a couple of different... Oh, there's Paige. She's saying hi. She's been making appearances in most of my videos lately, coming in to give me kisses. So anyway, this is pretty much dry. I really like how it looks. I think it looks really cool. I love that you can see the stencil work. And I thought that I would add a little bit more interest to it to kind of maybe lighten it up just slightly. And so I'm going to add some white splatters. I just kind of add a wet brush to the white paint just to dilute it slightly, and then go to splattering. And I think in the end, these white splatters, it just makes such a cool effect. I don't know, it almost just lightens it up a little bit. You see the difference there? And I love the white paint effect on darker colors, because it dries exactly like when it hits the paper, that's how it dries. So I thought that I would add a little bit of interest to the title, so I wanted to add some white around the edges. So I pulled out a white ink pad from my stash, and I'm just going to go around the edges and dab some of the white ink, use my fingers to kind of smudge it, and it just gives a little bit of a slight textury look to the letters. I was just showing you there that off camera I added some adhesive foam behind all the letters because I want to pop the title up. And that should be pretty easy because my background is smooth. You know, usually if you have modeling paste or texture paste, it's rough and bumpy, but I didn't use any of that. So my background's pretty smooth, so my title is going to adhere very, very easily, I think. I like how this is looking, so I think I'm ready to start gluing things down, and I'm going to start with the title. I know that that's exactly where I want it, and I know a lot of times I am not able to shut up about the fact that I like things crooked on purpose, but in this instance I want the title as straight as it can be. So I pulled out my T-square ruler there to make sure that this is lined up just so. Got that down. Then I decided that I wanted to add a little bit more spots of color in between some of the letters. I wanted a bolder pop of pink, so I pulled out my shimmers to do this. And I'm going to very carefully just use the nozzle to drip in a little bit of this pink color. This is Vibes Sweetheart, and it's one of my favorite bright pink colors. This one is Coloring's Pink Stiletto, and it's more of a deeper pink. And I think that this makes such a big difference. I like how the colors just kind of deepen in between the letters. I held the paper up and let it run down, and it's going to kind of pool in the bottom part of the S once it's all said and done. And the same thing's going to happen here with the O. I wanted a little bit more of an orangey color there, so I added in this Vibes Mango Tango. And I think it looks really cool because it kind of creates like a darker, I don't want to call it a shadow, but just that you can see where at the bottom of the O, it's that deeper orange color. And here's where I'm going to add a little bit more to the curve of the S. And I really like how this turns out. And I wasn't even really planning on that to happen, but it just sort of did. And I love that. Gives it a little bit deeper colors in those areas. And then for the word girl, I'm going to come in with more of that navy blue that's in the love, well, the love word, that color. So I'm going to do the same thing down there. And I accidentally got some of the shimmers on the L. You can see it there, but in the end, it doesn't even matter. I think it's fine. So I went to the Truly Grateful 6x8 paper pad and started to fussy cut some of these flowers. I'm going to cut some of the yellow, the pink, the orange. That orange is like a deep reddish orange, so pretty. And I wanted the smaller flowers because I wanted to kind of place them around and on top of the title. I also cut a couple from the Bloom Street 6x8 paper pad for a lighter pink color. And I'm going to just start to kind of randomly put these in different places. You can see why I wanted the smaller flowers, because the 12x12 papers have some pretty big flowers. And these specific ones are the ones I wanted because of the colors. And I do want some more flowers around the photo. And I do have space to the left of her head. There's a bunch of white space in the photo. So I pulled this sticker from the Truly Grateful sticker sheet. It matched perfectly. I'm going to trim off the white border around the edges, and I'm going to place that right by her head. And I feel like that's a good spot to layer on top of the photo because it was a bunch of dead space there. I have another die cut from Truly Grateful, and I'm going to start gluing these down. I love embellishing with flowers and leaves. And yeah, I pulled out, yeah, I'll get the die cuts from Truly Grateful there. Most of these are Truly Grateful, just a couple of Bloom Street. Gluing all of that down. And then I'm going to come in with some thread. My photo is not glued down yet, so I'm going to add in some matching colors of thread. I wanted to echo the dark blue color, so that is the color that I'm going to put right here under this floral cluster. And I had to fight with it. It would not tangle up like I wanted, so yeah. I finally just said, you know what, we'll deal with that later. I'm going to head and glue the photo down and all the little flowers around it and leaves. I also fussy cut some of the colorful leaves from the Truly Grateful 6x8 paper pad. If you remember, there was an entire paper filled with a rainbow color of leaves, and so I cut some of those out as well. So I got the navy blue thread, kind of sort of like I want it. I'm going to add some pink down here under the I and the R to kind of bring a pop of that color to that part of the layout. And then I'm going to add orange thread up here at the top. And I'm trying to spread the colors around, you know. A lot of times I'll do tone on tone where I put all the pink stuff together and then all the orange stuff together. But in a layout like this, I'm spreading the colors all around. There's that leaf paper I was just talking about. I cut out some green ones, a yellow one, just trying to scatter the colors around like I said. And those little leaves are perfect for these tiny flowers. And again, they add so much color and can bend the edges up because they're leaves. It's one of my favorite things about leaves and flowers is you can easily bend the edges up and make them look like they're just popping off the page. Couple more, I think. Yeah, it's hard to stop because everywhere could use a new leaf, you know? They just look cute anywhere I stuck them, so I just kept going. Okay, so this is what I got so far. I really like this, and I feel like it doesn't need a whole lot more, but there is one thing that I did want to use. I found this little piece here, this wood veneer that says yes, and that is part of Truly Grateful as well. It's in the little mixed embellishments pack, and I thought I would emboss it with gold powder, so I haven't embossed in, I don't even remember how long. So I dabbed it with some embossing ink there that's in that little dauber bottle, poured on some gold powder, and then I'm going to heat it up and it's going to melt and look really, really cool and shimmery and shiny when it's dry. Embossing doesn't really take that long. You just have to be willing to get, you know, some glittery stuff on your desk, probably on your hands. It's in a sense glitter, so, you know, if you're not a glitter fan, which I don't care. Glitter can be on my desk. I'm okay with it. I'm cool with glitter. I'm going to put that down there at the bottom that says yes. And then I thought I would echo the whole gold thing by splattering some gold shimmer. This is, it's not Heidi's, I ran out of Heidi Swapp Gold Color Shine. That is the Jen Hadfield Gold Glimmer Spray, which is basically the same as the Heidi Swapp Color Shine. And I think we got that in a hip kit back in November. So yeah, it's really, really pretty when it dries. I'm going to add a couple of stickers from the Truly Grateful sticker sheet, a couple of colored ones, a couple of white ones, just in a couple spots. A couple of the little white stickers, they're hard to see here, but they have the word that's written on them is rainbow. So I have 2 of those, a little orange sticker under the yes, and then a gold sticker above the photo. This paper here is from Whimsical. Do you remember the Whimsical collection? This is from the 12 by 12 paper pad. All these butterflies. I'm going to cut out a couple of those. And I use the big paper here instead of the 6 by 8 paper pad because the butterflies are pretty small anyway. And again, the colors were perfect for this. I'm going to fussy cut out a couple of those and add, I think I add 3. Maybe 4. A couple at the top. I think I had 1 or 2 on top of the letters. I wanted something on the word this, like between the H and the I and the S area. Yeah, I added a pink one to the S. I felt like I needed something right there. I made sure that the wings were bent up to give them the idea that they have been flying around and they just landed on the page. And then the last thing I'm going to do is use my ruler there to draw some lines to add my journaling. And I'm going to use my gold metallic pen since I've already got some gold going on there. And I believe that's it. I added the date, but that's the final layout. Oh my gosh, I love these colors. I love the background is so cool. I love how the title just jumps off of it. And you can, you see the background, but you see the title and the photo first, which is what I always love. There's a close-up of that embossed yes, and here are all the details of the die cuts, the cut file, the fussy cut flowers, the background, all of the good stuff. I hope this gave you some ideas. I hope it inspired you in some way. It was a lot of fun to make. Make sure you check out Paige's cut files. She gives away free ones all the time. She has got a gazillion cut files. I'll link that down below to where you can check those out if you haven't. I'll link her stencils and her blog where you can find the links to all of her collections. And her new one has been revealed. Go the Scenic Route. I cannot wait to get my hands on that one. It is gorgeous. So I hope you guys have a great week, and I will see you next time. Thank you so much for watching.